Well, hi, everybody. It's a dog. Happy October to you. Glad you're checking out the dog, Weber on Sports. And yes, Doogie Marrone and the Jills of Bills, whatever you call that worthless team in Western New York. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, we start off with the NFL Network. If you're a Time Warner subscriber, like I have been for a zillion years, they upset me on occasion because of their screw-ups. But, you know, you got to give credit where credit is due. Whether or not they're going to charge us $20 more a month in the next few weeks, I'm not sure what's going to develop regarding that. But at least they added a new channel to the, I guess, menu of channels that we possibly can achieve and get on our TV, so long as you have the box. You got to have a DVR box. You might have whole house video like we do, but if you have a box, they added a channel, which is the NFL Network. Why is that important? Because you can watch Thursday night football live on the NFL Network. So if you have a box, it is on channel 1188. So again, Thursday night football can be seen at your home without having to go out as long as you have the box. So check that out. It's a freebie. I'm not saying it's free forever, but it's free right now, and I understand a lot of bar owners are very upset with that because up until now, before Time Warner added it, you had to go to a local tavern to watch Thursday night football on the NFL Network. Now, of course, you don't. My point for bringing up this is that our famed coach up in Waterloo, Tommy Coughlin, 2 Super Bowl wins, phenomenal career, definitely one of the top coaches of all time in NFL history with 2 Super Bowls. Not too many have done that. You got to give credit where credit is due as well with Tommy Coughlin, who certainly has turned out to be a local boy doing very well. The NFL Network has produced a TV show, an hour length. It's called A Football Life, and it stars Tom Coughlin. It talks about Tom's life, where he came from, of course, Waterloo, New York. There's a few shots in the 1-hour presentation of Waterloo, New York, and the famous mural by LaBelle's Tavern. I remember it as LaBelle's way back when. It talks about his various coaching jobs. It talks about when he got fired from Jacksonville, and it was a turning point in his career, whether or not he was ever going to get a job in NFL again after being axed by the Jaguars. He was thinking of going and selling insurance to make sure he could bring in a paycheck. But as you all know, he got hired as a Giant coach, had a lot of years of turmoil with the Giants, but he has changed. But what really got me interested and really amazed by the film is his wife, Judy. Of course, her maiden name was Whitaker. The fantastic job Judy did in all the years, including now, as her kids obviously are growing up, but she spent 99.9% of the time bringing up her 4 children. Tom goes on to say that he never once attended opening day of any of the colleges that the 4 kids went because he was too busy coaching football. But Judy really sacrificed her entire life, allowing her husband Tom to follow his dream, and that is to be an NFL coach. Very interesting film. Again, it's called A Football Life, the Tom Coughlin story, on channel 1188. That's the NFL Network. It's a must-see. I know a lot of you think you know all about Tom Coughlin's life, and maybe you do, but it has some interesting observations, and it certainly contains a lot of film about his wife Judy talking to the cameras regarding her life when Tom was out coaching. Must-see. Check it out. Channel 1188, Tom Coughlin's story. Well, Doogie Marrone, the librarian, getting ready for Big East opener this coming Friday night. Pittsburgh comes into town. What kind of Pittsburgh team will the Orange see? They lose to Youngstown State, but then they crushed Virginia Tech a couple of weeks ago, wins by 15 or 16 points. I think this is the game Syracuse needs. You know, Doogie's been talking about addressing issues when the kickoff team and the punt team and the turnover issue, the penalty issue. It's been well chronicled by me, who's not a big fan of Marrone's, but he's had lots of time to address the concerns that have been really bugging Syracuse football. I guess there's no excuses. He should be ready for Pittsburgh. They come to town, the Dome, on Friday night, and I would guess that Syracuse needs this W. Remember, to become bowl eligible, they need 5 out of the next 8 wins to become 6 wins in totality, obviously eligible to go to a bowl game. But again, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Friday night, no more excuses. All the areas of concern have been addressed by Marrone. So I guess next week, if they lose to Pittsburgh, shockingly, I guess we can't get out the towel and wipe our eyes with perspiration because Doogie has given up and he's probably running out of excuses. Well, you know, it's kind of embarrassing if you're an Arkansas Razorback fan. Arkansas, before the season started, was ranked, I think, 8th or 9th in the country. They had quite a ball club. However, things have turned sour for Arkansas. And you know something? They have set an historic mark down at Arkansas. They are the first college team to lose 4 games in the month of September when ranked in the top preseason top 10. First time in the history of college football. Not a dubious distinction by the Arkansas Razorbacks. You know, I kind of laugh and I kind of have fun with Las Vegas and how they are so accurate with lines and how they play games with a gambling population, which, of course, is a quite huge number of people that like to bet on football. And you can bet on football in Las Vegas, and it's legal. But I kind of chuckled about over-under. I think I've talked to you about over-under. When you see over-under in the paper, like, for example, let's say New England favored by 4 over the Bills. We'll get to that story in a minute. And they always have a number over-under. Let's say it's 45. What the 45 means is if you bet over, you're saying that they're going to score 45 or more points in total between both teams. If you say under, you're saying the final score is 23-17. That's 40. You would win that bet because you betted under. I kind of caught my curiosity. Certain things just drive me nuts. I could not believe an over-under of West Virginia Baylor over the weekend. The over-under on that game, based on Las Vegas, who sets the odds, was 81.5. One of the largest over-under numbers that I have seen since I watch and I check out pro football and college football lines. 81.5. You would think, wow, I got to bet under on that game. So maybe you did. Maybe you bet $50 on the under. And the bet was that you would see that those teams would score less than 81 points in totality. You know what they scored total between both schools? 133. 70-63 West Virginia. My whole point on, folks, is I thought it was a wacky number, but there was a reason why they set it at 81.5, and guess what? They only missed by some 50 points. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm happy that the real Zebras are back at work for the NFL. We have had to put up with the audacity and the ridiculous style of the replacement refs who tried to be wannabe officials. And to fairness, and you need to be fair about this, you know, some guys were selling ice cream, some guys were selling Avon, some guys were selling cars, used cars. Come on. I mean, they were put into a spotlight. They were put in under the camera, and literally they had zero chance of really performing. The game was too fast for them. They made a lot of bad calls, and as a result, they got ridiculed. And, of course, it took the Green Bay-Seattle game to make the nation say, enough already. They put extreme pressure on Roger Goodell and the greedy NFL owners to bring back the regulars. And thus they did. And now the regulars are out there. And, yes, the NFL regular referees do make mistakes. We saw a few this past weekend. But overall, you got to have some sort of sense of warmness of your body, that at least you got the guys that are out there experienced and know what they're doing as far as the rules are concerned. And they make the game go along a little faster. So I don't know about you, but I'm happy that they're back and trust you agree with me. Let's talk about the NFL. Of course, the Detroit Lions have an historic moment yesterday. The Detroit Lions, who, by the way, during the offseason fired their special teams coach. And now the poor guy that has that job, you think he's under a little heat? The Detroit Lions set an NFL record, which I would find pretty hard to believe it could ever get duplicated. The Lions are the only team in NFL history, are you ready, to allow a kickoff return and a punt return for touchdowns 2 weeks in a row. Think about the unbelievable, awesome odds for that to happen. You give a kickoff return, touchdown. And during the game, you give a kickoff return, touchdown. This next week, you do the same thing, one of each. That, folks, could stay in the NFL as the only time that's ever going to happen 2 weeks in a row. It takes a lot of combinations for that to happen. The Lions, of course, losing yesterday. And, of course, last night, a tough loss. Speaking of Tommy Coughlin, Giants lose 19-17 to the Philadelphia Eagles, their hated rivalry. I'm sure Tommy will not be in a happy mood this week. The good news for Tom Coughlin is he entertains the mistake on the lake, the Cleveland Browns, who come to Giant Stadium next week. How about Denver knocking off my Raiders? Made it look easy, didn't they? Oh, Peyton Manning, don't you ever tell me he's all done. I don't buy that for 1 minute. He's still got a lot of game, and he showed it against the Raiders. And, of course, I wouldn't be the dog if I didn't talk about my favorite little animal called the Buffalo Jill. Hello, Buffalo Jill. How are you this morning? Had another tough day yesterday. You know, I crack up. They spent $177 million during the offseason. $177 million of new money to bring in Mark Anderson and Super Mario Williams on the defensive line to chase guys like Tom Brady and to be a factor for the D-line. 177. Part of that 177 went to the bearded wonder from Harvard, Fitzpatrick. Oh, yesterday against New England, nice job, Fitzy. 4 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 6 turnovers. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the most pathetic, most worthless franchise, and we happen to have them 2 hours away from Seneca Falls. It's flat out not pathetic, it's embarrassing. I would urge everybody to leave the stadium, the Ralph Wilson Stadium, get all the front office out of there, get all the players out of there, get all the ownership out of there, and just blow up the place. Totally destroy the complex. All of their practice fields, blow them up, blow up all the facilities that connect anything to do with football. And let's move them to Canada. Let's get them the hell out of the United States of America. I mean, folks, yesterday I watched back and forth, flipping it from the Ryder Cup to some football. The Bills led at home against a division rival who came to town 1-2, the New England Patriots. They led 21-7. The Bills did. Big win, right? Against your divisional contender, right? 21-7. I got to tell you this story because it really is true. I flipped off the TV set. I went to pee. Now, how long does it take you to pee? Us guys, 30, 40 seconds. After peeing, I washed my hands like I'm told to do. Good hygiene, right? I left the bathroom of my apartment, went outside, got something out of my trunk. Now, the clock is ticking. I went back in the kitchen, made myself a little bit of pepperoni and cheese and a couple of crackers. And I got myself a soft drink. I was going to go back to my man cave to watch more football and more Ryder Cup. I turned back on the TV. Remember, when I went to take a pee, it was 21-7 Buffalo. When I turned back on the TV, it was 42-21 New England. What the hell happened? They scored 35 points in like 12 minutes. Come on, folks. I can't make this stuff up. I can't. They are the most pathetic, most ridiculous team called an NFL team in the history of the NFL. I'm closing in on 68 years of age. It is enough already. And all you Bills fans, mamma mia, come on. Get a life. Get another team. Please. It's flat out embarrassing. And if you want to see somebody really go bent out of shape, check on Kenny's Two Pennies show this week. I'm sure he'll have a lot of glowing things to say about his beloved Bills. Well, Hobart Statesmen, we're not going to say anything bad about them. Undefeated, ripping WPI over the weekend. Congratulations up to our Geneva college football team, the Hobart Statesmen. I'm just getting warmed up. It's Weber on Sports. Happy October 1st, 2012. Let's take a break and hear from our great sponsors. Welcome back, everybody. It's the dog in the kennel. I'm revved up on a Monday morning Weber on Sports show. Well, I mean, you want a pennant race in baseball? You want people to vie for the second wild card? You want some action on the baseball diamond? What do you want? shrimp cocktails, surf and turf. It's there for you with 3 to go, baby. Yankees and Orioles, dead tied. I mean, you can't get it much closer than this. Dead tie. The Baltimore Orioles travel to Tampa. The Yankees entertain the Red Sox, Brad Jones's favorite team, who, by the way, mailed it in about 3 months ago. I can't believe they're going to bring back Valentine. I mean, not only did they not want to play for him, he's kind of given up. They just have waved the white flag. Now watch him sweep the Yankees. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you can't expect any more dramatics than what you got this week. 3 to go, Yanks, Orioles tied, vying for the division win. Big advantage winning division versus a wild card. A wild card, you got a 1-game playoff. Adios, amigo. Drama mama. So you want to win the division. 3 to go. It looks like on paper the Yankees have the advantage, but you're playing the hatred Red Sox, who have played like a little league team. A little league team for about 2.5 months. Shame on Boston. Not only should they fire Bobby Valentine, they should torture him before they fire him. What an embarrassment that squad is. And watch them come to Yankee Stadium the next 3 nights and play like world beaters. Update, Teixeira is back in the lineup tonight, thank God. So we're going to have to see what happens. My wife's hanging on for dear life being a big Yankee fan. And let me tell you something. ARod, goodbye. He's not worth $28 million a year. You know what you see or hear when you watch a Yankee game the last couple of months with ARod? He steps into the batter's box. He's got the big lumber in his hands. He tightens up his gloves. And you hear 2 things if you're doing play-by-play. First off, you hear, strike 3 call. That's one thing you hear. Or, swing and a miss, strike 3. That's what you hear. And that's what you see. This clown's getting $28 million a year. Ladies and gentlemen, he's not worth $28 the way he's been producing. Don't give me that line about he's got a couple of base hits. He's not in the lineup, third in the lineup to hit base hits. He's in the lineup to hit those prodigious home runs. That's what he's there for. That's why they're paying him $28 million a year. See, I'm all choked up talking about ARod. The guy's a bum. It's time to suck it up, ARod, and do something for the pinstripers and not base knocks to center field. How about some home runs, you moron? $28 million, it's a joke. He is a first-class bum. And speaking of bums, why did they allow Jabba to come back into the game? He comes in the other night, game tied. Yeah, the guy on base was the responsibility of Andy Pettit. What, 3 pitches? Up against the right field wall, winning run comes in. Don't bring him in. Get rid of him. He's a stiff. He can't get people out anymore. Yeah, the 93, 96, 95 mile-an-hour fastball was really great a couple of years ago. We all were sitting there going, wow, does he throw it hard? Guess what? If you're a major league hitter, you can catch up to a 95 mile-an-hour fastball because that's all that idiot throws. Don't bring him in. Jabba is a disaster waiting. Well, let's stay on baseball. Mike Cotillo, Billy Owen, you did it. The Pittsburgh Pirates have now gone 2 complete decades, 20 years, with a losing record. That is quite the mark. Let me tell you something. This Pittsburgh Pirate team was 16 games over 500 through 110 games. Let me do the math. I'm very good at math. I am excellent at math. After 110 games, they were 16 over 500. What does that leave, folks? Come on. 52? Are you ready? They're 14 and 35 since then. Timber! Collapse City! Gagarama! What? 14 and 35. That's almost comical. So you Buckaroos fans got a lot to be ashamed of. Trust me. Now I know when I travel to Pittsburgh why the city is called the City of Bridges, because it certainly isn't called the City of Baseball. What a horrific collapse by Mike Cotillo and Billy Owens' Pittsburgh Pirates. 20 years in a row with a losing record. They did not disappoint me. You know what? I'm not a Tiger fan. But I like Miguel Cabrera. Got a shot to do something that hasn't happened since 1967. 1967, winning the Triple Crown. He leads in RBIs. Yes, he does. He leads in batting average. And he's tied with Josh Hamilton for home runs with 3 to go. I am pulling like mad for Miguel Cabrera of Detroit to do something that hasn't happened since 1967, winning the Triple Crown. Go Cabrera. Well, we turn our attention to the world of vroom racing. And yes, the Danica Patrick update is brought to you by Bob and Leslie Oman. We're going to give you updates on Danica. She played in the big leagues this week and the minors. In the Nationwide on Saturday, she finished a, 16th. That's not impressive. 16th with the minors. Remember Danica? Go Daddy Go. And oh, by the way, Go Daddy Go put her car into the big race at Dover on Sunday with the big boys. Yeah. She qualified 38th. She finishes 2-8. T-H. 28th. Another sterling weekend by Danica, GoDaddyGo.com. I am so thrilled that GoDaddyGo.com has got millions to blow in advertising because they do piss away a lot of money on that chick, and she's not worth it. Well, are we ready to talk about USA? What? Ladies and gentlemen, let us flash back. Let's flash back to 2 dates. 1991, the war on the shore. German Bernhard Langer missed a 6-footer. America wins. Remember that? Let's flash a few years after that. 1999. Let's go to Brookline, Massachusetts. When the Americans, captained by Ben Crenshaw, were trailing by 4 points, 10-6 to go to the finals, which is the singles. 12 single matches. Guess what happens? Justin Leonard makes a 45-foot putt. America wins. The team comes racing onto the 17th green. The Urals thought that was unprofessional. Guess who was on the green for the Europeans ready to putt after Leonard? Jose Maria Olazabal. Jose Maria, the Spaniard great. Remember that? Now we go forward, flash forward. 2012. Without McElroy and Poulter winning a couple of points late on Saturday afternoon, the Americans would have been leading not 10-6, 12-4, but they led 10-6. Insurmountable? You bet. 12 single matches. Big deal. Everybody's making a big deal out of McElroy missing his wake-up time, showing up 8 minutes before his tee time. I turned to my wife, Mary. Honey, he's number 1 in the world. He knows how to play golf. He takes care of the cheerleader for the USA, Keegan Bradley. Bottom line is, folks, the worst embarrassment in the history of the Ryder Cup. The worst defeat ever. The Ryder Cup's been going on for 80 years. The first time a team has lost a 4-point lead going to the singles on their own soil. The Urals took it to the United States of America big time yesterday. Stricker, Gagarama, Furyk, Gagarama. Adios. I cannot make light of this. This was a crushing blow to the red, white, and blue. Don't try to make light of it. This was a crushing defeat. The Urals played for Seve in his memory of Severano Ballesteros. I laugh at Davis Love III. He is the captain. He is the one in charge of sending people out to the golf course to play or not to play. Here you have Mickelson and the cheerleader Keegan Bradley kicking butt on Friday morning, on Friday afternoon, on Saturday morning. They destroy their opponents. Mickelson, Bradley team. Mickelson on the 10th tee sees Davis Love while he's playing Saturday morning, says, "Hey, Captain, we are giving our best. We're playing great. We're kicking butt, but we're spent. We're tired. We don't want to play this afternoon." What? You're telling the captain you don't want to play? The captain makes that call. Get your ugly putts out there and play. I mean, is Mickelson carrying his clubs? Come on. You got a caddy, don't you? They sat him down. The hottest team of the United States of America, Bradley and Mickelson, for the first three sets, sat down because Mickelson said they were spent. They had given their best shot on Saturday morning. They needed the afternoon off. What? You got 2 years off after this Ryder Cup to the next one, which, by the way, is in Scotland. It is ridiculous. Davis Love, backbone, zero. You make the call, send those idiots on the tee. Embarrassing Davis Love. Embarrassing USA. Worst defeat in the history of the Ryder Cup. And Davis Love says, okay, Phil, I'll rest you. What are you, carrying 200-pound bricks around with you? It's golf. You walk up and down the fairway, hit a few shots. Ridiculous. We had a lot of egg on our face being an American today, folks. A lot of egg on our face. Well, we won't have egg on our face coming up Wednesday. Rod Verke, hopefully you'll join us on Wednesday morning for the Dog and Polly Show. He'll be showcasing the Miners Academy Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which takes place this coming Saturday night from the New York Chiropractic College. FingerLakes1.com. Sports will be there. Jim Sundercropy and myself will be there covering some interviews, taping the action, showing it to you live. So if you're from out of the area, you got friends and relatives that want to see their relative get inducted this week at the Miners Academy Sports Hall of Fame, not to worry. We'd love you to come to Seneca Falls to be there in the room. But if not, Jim will have it up on his homepage when to click that button for live coverage of our presentation. We'll be there at the New York Chiropractic College this coming Saturday night. More details about exactly when we're going to go on the air will be on our homepage as the days go by. And good luck to the Waterloo Hall of Fame ceremonies, which also takes place this Saturday night at Abigail's Restaurant. Well, Johnny Carson's coming back. Johnny Carson, a.k.a. Paulie Hellstrom, will be back for the Dog and Paulie after his 7-week vacation. I got to pick on you, Paulie. Take care, everybody. Embarrassing day if you're an American. Davis Love III backs down, doesn't play Mickelson Bradley. Plus, a lot of our guys, gagged it. That's a look at sports my way.